hold yourself?
Long live the king.
Bernardo?
Eve.
You come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get into bed.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet, guard?
Not stirring.
Well, good night. If you see Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stand! Ho! Who's there?
Friends to this ground, engagements of the day.
Give you good night.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo has my place. Give you good night.
Oh, Bernardo! Say, is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Tush, tush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while. Let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against a story what we have 2 nights seen.
Well, sit we down. Let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when beyond same star that twisted from the pole had made his course to illume that part of heaven where now it stands, Marcellus and myself, the bell, then beating one.
Hey, break me off! Look where it comes again! Do the same picture like the king that's dead. Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio!
Looked it not like the king Marcus, Horatio?
Most like. It harrows me with fear and wonder. Question is Horatio.
Would be spoke to.
What art thou that usurps this time of night? Together with that fair and warlike form by which the majesty of Bernie Denmark did sometimes march. By heaven I charge thee, speak! It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay! Speak, I charge thee, speak! 'Tis gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio?
For my God, I might not disbelieve without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes. Is it not like the king? As thou art to thyself. 'Tis strange. Thus twice before and jump at this dead hour with martial stalk had begun by our watch. In what particular thought to work I know not, but in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state. A mote it is to trouble the mind's eye. But so, behold! Lo, where it comes again! Shall I strike at it with my partisan? If thou art priest of thy country's face, this happily, for no may avoid, no speak! 'Tis here! 'Tis here! 'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical, to offer it the show of violence, for it is as the air, invulnerable, and our vein blows malicious mockery.
It was about to speak before the cock crew.
And it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. It faded on the crowing of the cock. But look, the morn. Russet mantle-clad walks o'er the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and by my command, let us impart what we've seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit dumb to us, speak to him. You consent we shall acquaint him with it, as needful in our loves, fitting our duty. Let's do it, I pray, for I this morning know where we may find him most conveniently.
Though we have Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature that we with wisest sorrows think on it, together with remembrance of ourselves, for all our thanks. Now follows, that you know, young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjoint, and out of frame, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourselves, and for this time of meeting. Thus much the business is. We have here, writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein, in that the levies, the lists, and full proportions are all made out of his subject. And we here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway, giving to you no further personal power to business with the king, more than the scope of these delayed articles allow. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In that and all things will we show our duty.
We doubt in nothing. Heartily farewell. Now, Laertes, what's the news with you? What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dread lord, your leave in favour to return to France, from whence so willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now I must confess that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take that fair hour, Laertes. But now, my cousin Hamlet, And my son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
So, my lord, I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy lighted color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam, nay, it is. I know not seem.
It is sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these morning duties to your father. We pray, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire. And we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. But that the everlasting had not fixed his canon against self-slaughter, that it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. Why, she, even she, the beast that wants discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incest the sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship!
I am glad to see thee well. Horatio, or do I forget myself?
Same, my lord, and your poor servants
Sir,
ever.
my good friend, I'll change that name with you. What make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus, my good lord. Glad to see thee well. Good evening, sir. But what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
A truly disposition, good my
I will
lord.
not hear your enemies say so, nor shall you do mine ear that violence, to make it trust of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore?
My
Teach you to drink deep, ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I pray thee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed by pod.
Oh, thrift, Horatio, the funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. When I met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio, my father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all and all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My lord, the king your father.
My father?
Seizing your admiration for a while, within a tent here, till I may provide, upon the witness of these gentlemen, this marvel.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, in the dead vast in the middle of the night been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly, cap a pay. This to me, in dreadful secrecy in part they did. And I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I knew your father. His hands are not more light.
Where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we walked.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk in haste away and vanished from our sight.
Very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down in our duty to tell you of it.
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight?
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my
From
lord.
top to toe?
My lord, from head to
But
foot.
then, saw you not his face?
Oh, yes, my lord, you were his beaver up.
What looked he frowningly?
Countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
Fixed his eyes upon you.
Most constantly.
I would have been
Would have much amazed you.
Very like. Stayed it long.
One with modern haste might tell 100.
Longer, longer.
When I saw it,
His beard. It was grizzled, no?
It was, as I've seen in his life, a sable silver.
I will watch tonight, perchance 'twill walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it. Though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace, I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall have tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your loves. So fare you well upon the platform twixt 11 and 12. Or visit me.
My duty to your honor.
Your loves is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play where the night will come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the wind gives benefit and convoys assistance, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, in the trifling of his favor, holds it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in a youth of creamy nature, forward not permanent, sweet not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more it's so?
Think it no more. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil nor caudal doth besmirch the virtue of his will. But you must fear. His greatness weighed, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and health of this whole state. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister. Keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. Be weary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But, good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, while, like a wrecked and helpless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, recks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not. I stay too long. But here our father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon the second leaf.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, aboard! For shame! The wind sits in the shoulder of your sail, and yet you are stayed for. There, my blessing would be, and these few precepts in thy memory. See, thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in beareth the opposed beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Neither a borrower nor a lender be. For loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. And as it must follow, as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell. My blessing sees in this and thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invites you. Go, your servants dead.
Farewell, Ophelia. Remember well what I have said to you.
It is in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key to it.
Farewell.
What is Ophelia he hath said to you?
So please you, my lord, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you and you yourself. Have of your audience been most free and bounteous? What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection towards me.
Affection? Pooh, you speak like a green girl, unsifted in perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should believe.
Mary, I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby, and that you have taken these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or you'll tender me a fool.
He hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion,
Aye, fashion you may call it. Go to, go to.
and hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
From this time on, be somewhat stanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command of parley. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger feather may he walk than may be given you. This is for all, I would not in plain terms have use of slander any moment leisure as to talk or give words with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
Shall obey, my lord.
Dear, bite shrewdly. It is very cold.
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks 12.
No, it has struck.
Indeed? I heard it not. Then it draws near the season wherein the spirit held its wont to walk.
When the king doth wake tonight and takes his rouse, keeps wassail and swaggering up spring reels, and as he drains his draughts and renish down the kettle drum and trumpet, thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
I marry it, but to my mind, though I am native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honored in the breach than the observance. This heavy-headed rebel, east and west, makes us traduced and taxed of other nations. They clep us drunkards, and with swinish phrase soil our addition. The dram of evil doth all the noble substance of a doubt to his own scandal.
Look, my lord, it comes!
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of hell, or goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven, or blast from hell. Be thy intents wicked, or cherub. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dame. Answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, bursted in death, have burst their ceremonies. Why the sepulchre wherein we saw thee quietly inert hath oped its ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again. What may this mean that thou, dead corse again in complete steel, revisits thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we, fools of nature, so horribly to shape our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls? Say, what is this? Wherefore, what should we do?
It beckons you to go away with this. Look, with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it. No, by no means.
Not speak that I will follow.
Do not, my lord.
What should be the fear? That do not set my life in a pity's fee. And for my soul, what can it do to that being a thing as immortal as itself? Will it be still a follower?
What if we tempt you toward the flood, my lord? Or to the summit of the cliff that beetles our space into the sea, and there assume some other horrible form, which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness?
Will it be still go on? It shall not go, my lord!
Behold, you shall not go!
I ever make a ghost of him that lets me! I say, away! Go on! I'll follow thee!
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after. To what issue will this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
Where wilt thou lead me? Speak! I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I, through sulphurous and tormenting flames, must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I doubt to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. List, list, O list! If thou didst ever thy dear father love,
Oh God.
revenge his most foul and unnatural murder.
Murder!
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural.
Peace be to know it, that I, with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love, may sweep to thy revenge.
I find thee apt. Now, Hamlet, here. 'Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me, so the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's ear now wears his crown.
My prophetic soul. My uncle!
I'm an incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, O wicked wit and gifts, that have the power so to seduce, one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. O Hamlet, what a falling off was there! But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be, sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon. Upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebanon in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor doth posset and curd, like eager droppings into milk the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. Thus was I, sleeping, by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched. But, howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Adieu. Adieu. Hamlet, remember me.
Remember me! Yes! By heaven! Oh, most pernicious woman! Oh, villain! Villain! Sergeant villain! My table's meat! It is, I set it down that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, Uncle, there you are. Now to my word, it is adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn.
My lord! My lord!
My lord Hamlet!
Heaven secure him!
So be it.
Hello, ho, my lord!
Hello, boy! Come, good, come!
Oh, who is my lord?
Oh, wonderful!
Good, my lord, tell
I
it!
would reveal it!
Not I, my lord, by heaven!
Nor I, my lord. I'll say you that would hardest man once think it. But you'll be secret.
I, by heaven, my lord!
There's ne'er a villain in all of Denmark. But he's an errant knave.
And he's no ghost, my lord, come from the grave to tell us this!
You are in the right. And so, without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part you as your business and desire shall point you. And for my own poor part, I'll go pray.
He's all but wild and whirling words, my lord!
I'm sorry to offend you heartily. Yes, faith, heartily.
If there's no offense, my lord!
Yes, Horatio, and much offense too. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost, that let me tell you. If you desire to know what is between us, overmaster it as you may. And now, friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is, my lord, we will?
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will not.
I swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I!
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
My lord, we've sworn already.
Indeed, upon my sword, indeed.
Swear!
Say so. Oh, no, true penny, come on! You heard this fellow and this other, it's consent to swear.
What's the oath, my lord?
Never to speak of this you have seen, swear by my sword.
Swear!
If you be king, then we'll go down, come in there, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Never to speak of this you have heard, swear by my sword.
Swear!
Settled all. Can't work with the oath so fast. What is coming near? Once more removed, good friends.
Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange!
Therefore, as a stranger, getting welcome, that you, as such time seen me, never shall know aught of me. This not to do, so grace and mercy your most need help you. Swear!
Swear!
Rest, perturbed spirit! So, gentlemen, with all my love, I do commend me to you. And what so poor a man as Hamlet has made you, express his love and friending to you. God willing shall not lack. Let's go in together. And still, your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
Give him this money and these notes, Ronaldo.
I will, my lord.
Shall do marvelous. Why think it, Ronaldo? Before you visit him to make inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I didn't intend it.
Very well said. Very well said. Take you as 'twere some distant knowledge of him, as thus I know his father and his friends, and impart him. Do you mark this, Ronaldo?
Very well, my lord.
Aye, very well. But you may say, not well. But if be he, I mean he's very wild, addicted so and so. And there put on him what forgeries you please. Marry, none so rank as would dishonor him.
As gaming, my lord?
Aye, swearing, drinking, fencing, jabbing, quarreling, you may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no, you may season it in the charge.
But my good lord.
Wherefore should you do this?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Marry, sir, here's my draft. And I do believe it is a fetch of wit, you lying these slight sullies upon my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled in the working. Mark you, your party in converse. Him you would sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes, the youth you breathe of guilty. Be assured, he closes with you in this good consequence. Good sir or so, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase, or the addition of man and country.
Very good, my lord.
And then, sir, he does he this? What was I about to say? By the mass, I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
That closes in the consequence, that friend or so in gentlemen.
Aye, closes in the consequence, he closes us. I know the gentleman, I saw him yesterday, or the other day, or then with such and such. And as you say, there was a gaming there, or chicken rouse, falling out at tennis, or perchance I saw him enter a house of sale, if it blessed a brothel, or so forth. See you now. Your bane of falsehood takes his carp of truth. With your wisdom and your reach, with windlasses and with the says of bias, by indirections find directions out, so by my former lecture and advice shall you, my son. You have me, have you not?
I have, my lord.
God be with you. Fare you
My
well.
lord.
Observe his inclination in yourself,
I shall, my lord.
and let him play his music.
Well, my lord.
Farewell! Time out, Ophelia! What is the matter?
Oh my lord, I've been so frightened.
With what? In the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, ungartered, and down-gyved to his ankle, pale as his shirt, with his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport, as if he'd been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love.
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of his brow, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face, as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus moving up and down, he raises a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, we shall go to the king. This is the very ecstasy of love. I'm sorry. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his fetters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle and then direct thee. Come, we shall go to the king. This must be known, which, being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate utter love.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, the much did like to see you. The need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. I entreat you both, that being of so young days brought up with him, and sis so neighbor to his youth and behavior, that you vouchsafe you rest here, in our court some little time. So by your companies, to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather, so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught, to us unknown, afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy.
Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am, 2 men there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you, to show us so much gentry and goodwill, as to expend your time with us a while, for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreat.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz, and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son. Go, some of you, and take these gentlemen where Hamlet is.
Heavens make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I assure my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God, to my gracious king. And I do think that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That's what I long to hear.
Give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the fruit to that great feast.
Thyself do grace to them and bring them in. He tells me, my good Gertrude, he has found a head and soul.
His father's death and our or hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him. Welcome, my good friends. Say both on. What from our brother Norway?
Most fair return with greetings and desires. Upon our first, he set out to suppress his nephew's levies, which to him appeared to be a preparation against the bullock. But better looked into, he truly found that it was against your highness, whereat grieved sent out arrests on Fortinbras, and in brief obeys. makes vow before his uncle nevermore to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereon old Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 3,000 crowns in annual fee, and his commission to employ those soldiers so levied as before against the Polack, with an entreaty, herein further shown, that it might please you to give quiet pass through your dominions for this enterprise, as concerns of safety and allowance are therein set down.
It likes us well, and at a more considered time well read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labor. Go to your rest, and night we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended. My liege and madam, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I yet for to define true madness. What is to be nothing else but mad? But let that go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true, 'tis pity. And pity 'tis true, a foolish figure. But farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad let us grant him, and now remains that we find out the cause of this at last. I have a daughter, hath given me this. Now gather, and summarize. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom, these and see.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt that the stars are fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art groans to reckon, but that I love thee best. Thine evermore most dear lady, adieu, as the machine is to him. Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, all given by time, means, and place, all to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
My lord, what do you think of me?
As of a man faithful and honorable.
I would fain prove so. But what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing, as I perceived it? I must tell you that before my daughter told me, what might you, or my dear queen, your majesty here think if I had played the desk, or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight, what might you think? No, I went round to work, and thus with my young mistress I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star this must not be. And then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he repulsed. A short tale to make, fell into a sadness, thence to a fast, thence to a watch, thence to a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein he now raves, and we all mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
It may be very likely.
Hath there been a time where I said 'tis so, and it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if this be otherwise. If circumstances lead me, I will find where the truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours altogether in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll lose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then, mark the encounter. If he love her not, let me be no assistant for his state, but keep a farm in Cardiff.
We will try it.
But look, where sadly the poor wretch who is reading.
Away, I beseech you both away. I'll board him presently. Will give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God of mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
How would you are so honest a man?
Honest, my lord.
Sir, to be honest, this world goes is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my
For
lord.
if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a god-kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
No, do not walk in the sun. Conception is blessed, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it.
What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words. Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
The matter that you read, my lord.
Slander, sir.
Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that is out of the air. My most honorable lord, I must take my leave of you.
Cannot, sir, take from me anything I will more willingly part with all, except my life.
Fare you well.
These tedious old fools.
You go and seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is.
God save you, sir.
My honored lord!
My most dear lord.
Excellent, good friends. How's my Guildenstern? Rosencrantz, good lads, I dream of.
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap we are not the very
The
buttons.
soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
You live about her waist or the middle of her favors.
Fate, the private
In
weak.
the secret parts of fortune, well, most true, she is a strumpet. What's the news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown
Oh,
old.
is doomsday near? But your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world
A
one.
goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my
Why,
lord.
then 'tis none to you. For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison.
Why then? Your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. Or not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambition. But the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a
The
dream.
dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly. And I hold ambition of such airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow shine.
Then are our beggars' bodies and the monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggars' shadows.
Shall we to the court for him? By my fay, I can't reason.
We'll wait up.
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, for to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the big boy of friendship, what make you in Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks. But I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Will you not send for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come to justly with me. Come. Come. Nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Like anything but to the purpose. You were sent for. And there's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not crafted up to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must tell me. Let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love. And by what more dear a better proposer could charge you all, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no. What say you? If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen look no feather. I have of late, wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes heavily to shape my disposition that this goodly frame the earth seemed to me a sterile promontory. This excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave, overhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. It seems no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights, not me. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my
Why'd
thoughts.
you laugh then when I said man delights, not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the player shall receive from you. We coated them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you
He
service.
that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have a tribute of me. What players are they?
Even those who are wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city.
There are the players.
Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore, your hands. Come then.
Well be with you, gentlemen. The actors will come hither, my lord.
You are welcome, masters, welcome. I'm glad to see you well. Welcome, good friends. Good mother, when you see the players well bestowed, do you now let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you were better have a bad epitaph than bear ill report while you live.
My lord, I will use them according to their desert.
Gods and body can bend, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who should escape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merit is in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Father, friends will hear the play tomorrow.
murder of Gonzaga.
Aye, my lord.
Perhaps tomorrow night. You could for need study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and certainly, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that lord and look you mock him not. Gentlemen, I will leave you till night. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
So, come away. Oh, what a rogue peasant slave am I. Oh, what an ass am I. This is most brave that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words, and fall a-cursing like a very drab. Astounded! Thou was far brave! I've heard that guilty creatures sitting at a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, shall speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before my uncle. I'll observe his looks, I'll tempt him to the quick, but if he blench, I'll know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil, and the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have the grounds more relative than this. The plays, the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
And can you, by no drift of circumstance, get rid of him while he puts on this confusion? Breathing so harshly all his days of quiet, with turbulent and dangerous lunacy.
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what he'll by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof, when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman,
But with much forcing of his disposition.
without questions, and of our demands most free in his reply.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players be o'erwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court, and, as I think, have ordered tonight to play before.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose on to these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as poor by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful Asbiels, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him as he is behaved, if it be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here, gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read upon this book, that the show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. My lord, I hear him coming. Let's withdraw.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing them to die, to sleep no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks the flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep. perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. That's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes? When he himself might his quietus make with the bare bodkin, who would far else bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but the dread of something after death? The undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprise of great pith and moment of disregard turn their currents awry, and lose the name of action. See now, the fair Ophelia, nymph, and now rise and speak all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor of this many
Holy,
day?
thank you. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I've long to deliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you one.
My honored lord should know right well kid. With the words of so sweet breath composed, that make things morbid.
Are you honest?
My lord.
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
Or if you be honest and fair, your honesty should have been no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than honesty?
Aye, truly. But the power of beauty, see, beauty can sooner transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe
You
so.
should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
It's the modesty.
Get thee to a nunnery. How wouldst thou be the mother of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but I can accuse myself of such things that were better my mother had not borne me. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut, that she may play the fool! No one brings us home! Farewell!
Welcome, you sweet Henry!
Did you never go? Farewell! Or if wilt thou marry a fool? Life but no one of them! What monsters you make of them! To another and quickly to farewell!
Heavenly powers restore!
I have heard of your painting well enough. God has given you one face, and you make yourself another! Go back! I'll have no more on it! Cannot make me mad! I say, we will have no more marriages! Those who are married already! All but one shall live! The rest shall keep as they are! To a nunnery! Go!
When noble mind is your throne, woe is me. To see what I've seen. See what I see.
Love? His affections do not that way tend. Nor what he spake, though it like form a little, was not like madness. I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England for our neglected tribute. Happily the seas and countries different with variable objects shall expel this somewhat set of matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you on?
It shall do well, but yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you see fit. But, if you please, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounce it to you. Forgive me on the tongue. But if you novices, so many of your players do, I had as least the town crier spoke my lines. Without Herod's Herod, pray you avoid it.
I warrant your honor.
Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action with. This special overstep not the modesty of nature. There be players that I have seen play and heard others praise, that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians or the gait of Christians, pagan nor man, have so strutted and bellowed that I had thought some of nature's journeymen had made men and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have performed that indifferently with us, sir.
Perform it all together. Go, make you ready. Now, my lord, now the king of this piece of work, and the queen too, and that presently, but the players make haste. Will you 12 days to them?
We will, my lord.
Whoa, Horatio!
Here, my lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art even there, my conversation cope with all.
Nay, my good
Nay,
lord.
do not think I flatter. Now, advance that may I hope from thee that no revenue has thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee. Now, there is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself uncannily in one speech, then he is a damned ghost that we have seen, and our imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face. And after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if he steal off the whilst this play is playing, and escape detecting, then I will pay the theft.
Coming to the play, I must be idle. You place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Excellent in faith.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Full 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen, about the world have times 1230s been, since love our heart and Hymen did our hands, unite commutual and most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state that I distrust you.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind, honored, beloved, and happily one is kind. For husband shalt thou have—
confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. And second husband, let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first. The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. Our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Both here and hence, pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be wife.
She should break it now.
'Tis deeply sworn, sweet, leave me here a while. My spirit grows dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Now, madam, how do you like this play?
The lady protests too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offense to the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty, and we have free souls that touches us not. Let the gall jade wince, our withers are unwrung. This is one Lucianus, death to the king.
You're as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your love like a seed in Hobbit's dallion.
You're keen, my lord, you're
It
keen.
would cost you a groaning to take off my edge.
Still better and worse.
So you must take your husband. Begin, murderer.
Thoughts, black, hands, apt, drugs fit in time, agreeing, confederate season, he'll see no creature seen. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban, thrice blasted, thrice infected.
thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life, usurp immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story is exalted and written in choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What fight with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Give all the play!
Give me some light away!
Good Horatio, I'll take the goat's word for 1,000 pounds. It's perceived very well that the talk of poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with
Oh,
you.
sir, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Aye, sir, what of him?
in his retirement, marvelous distemper.
Drink, sir.
Oh, my lord, rather with choler. The queen, your mother, in great spirit of affliction, had sent me to you.
She desires to speak with you ere you go to bed.
We shall obey were she 10 times our mother now. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
Sir, I do still by these pickers and stealers.
Good, my lord. What is your cause of distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friends.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, but sir, while the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. God bless you, sir!
My lord, the queen would speak with you at present.
Now, do you see yonder cloud that's almost in the shape of a camel?
By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Methinks it's like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
It is very like a whale.
Okay, I'll come out with a by and by. They fool me to the top of my bet. I'll come by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now might I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look at. So, now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let not ever the soul of Nero enter this firm bosom. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use not my tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words so ever she be shent, to give them seals never my soul consent.
I like him not, nor stands it safe for us to let his madness reign. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you.
We will ourselves provide, most holy and religious spirit is, to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
Never alone to the king's side but the gentle will.
Arm you, I pray you, to the speedy voyage, for we will fetters put upon this fear that now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
My lord, he's going to his mother's closet. Behind the air shall convey myself to hear the process, and word shall tax him home. And as you said, and wisely was it said, 'tis meet that some more audience, since nature makes them partial, should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you get to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks to you, my lord. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the eldest curse upon a brother's murder. Pray can I not? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my fell murder? It cannot be, since I am still possessed with those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense. Thou, stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
I'm going to do it, Pat. Now he's praying. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scandal. The villain kills my father. And for that I, his sole son, do this same villain sent to heaven. No. Up sword, and know thou a more horrid end. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sick days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts, never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look, you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grave hath stood between my cheek and him. While sconce me even here. Pray you, be round with him. Mother! Mother! Mother!
I'll warrant you. Withdraw. Fear me not, I hear him coming.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the root, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. But if we're not so, you are my mother.
Nay then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Go, you shall not budge. Go not to my second open glass, where you may see the inmost parts of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me! Help! Help! Oh!
Help! My neck! I am flame.
Oh me! What hast thou done?
Man or not? Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this!
A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and bear with his brother.
As kill a king!
My lady, 'twas my word. A wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace! Sit you down and let me wring your heart.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, heaven's face doth glow. This solidity and compound mass as against the doom is thought sick at the act.
I mean, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, upon this picture, and upon this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. Do you see what a grace was seated on this brow? This was your husband! Look you now. What follows? Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you not in this fair mountain leave defeat and batten on this sport?
Oh, Hamlet, speak it no more! Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct.
But to live in the rank sweat of this seamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeyed and making rubble of a nasty stuff!
Speak to me no more! These words, like daggers, enter in mine ears no more, sweet Hamlet!
Murderer and a villain, a slave that is at 20th part the time of your blessed Lord. A vice of kings, a conquerors of the empire on the rule that, on a shelf, the precious diamond stolen, put in his pocket. No more! King of shreds and save me and hover over with your wings. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Do you not come your tardy son to chide then? Lapsed in time and passion, let's go with the important action of your dread command. Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Conceit in weakest body's strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse. O gentle sun, upon the heat and flame of thy distemper sprinkle cool patience. Whereon do you look?
On him! Look you how pale he glares! His form and cause could joy, preaching to stones would make them capable. Do not look upon me! Lest, with this piteous action, you convert my stern effect. That what I have to do will want true color. Tears, perchance from blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Don't you see nothing now?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
But did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look you now. Look how it steals away. My father, in sad as he lived. Look where he goes, even now out of the portal.
This, the very coinage of your brain. This father's creation ecstasy is very
Ecstasy! Mother, for love and grace, lay not that matter unction to your soul. That not your trespass, but by madness speaks. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past.
Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Throw away the worser half of it, and live pure with the other half. Mother, good night, but go not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have not. Once more, good night. For this same Lord. I do repent. I must to England, you know that?
Alack, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed. And my two schoolfellows, who I will trust as I will Adder's fame. They bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. This man shall set me packing. I'll love guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night. Come, sir, to draw towards an end with you. Good night, Mother.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves. You must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where is your son?
Bestow this place on us a little while. Oh, my good Lord, what have I seen tonight?
What, Gertrude? How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind, when both contend, which is the mightier? In his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips up his rapier, cries, "A rat! A rat!" And in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed! It happened so with us had we been there. His liberty full of threats to all, to you yourself, to us, to everyone. Where is he gone?
To drop hurt the body he hath killed.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence. And this vile deed we must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern! Friends both, go seek you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you, hasten this. Oh, Gertrude, come. We'll call up our wisest friends, and tell them both what we need to do and what's untimely done. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Hamlet! Lord Hamlet! What noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Here they come. What have you done, my lord, with the dead body? Upon whom doth what it is bid. Take us where 'tis, that we may take it thence and bear it unto the chapel. Not believe it. Believe what? I can keep your counsel, but not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge. What replication should be made for the son of a king? Take you me for a sponge, my lord? Why, sir, it soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. And he needs what you have gleaned. It is but squeezing you. And, sponge, you shall be dry again. I understand you not, my lord. I am glad of it. A knavish speech speaks in a foolish ear.
My lord, you must take us to the body and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. Now, the king is a thing
My lord?
of nothing. Bring me to him. Tag Fox and all after.
I have sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose?
To the dead
How
body.
now? What's up with him?
My lord, we cannot get him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord. Guarded to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Hold, Guildenstern. Bring my lord.
Now, Hamlet. Where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper. Where?
Oh, not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms have eaten him. Your worm is your only monarch for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king, your lean beggar is but very little service. 2 dishes but 1 table, that's the end.
Alas,
A
alas.
man may fish with the worm that hath eaten the king, and eat of the fish that hath fed on that worm.
What dost you mean by this?
Nothing but show you how a king may go progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Sent hither to see if your messenger finds him not there. Seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go upstairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet. This deed, for thine especial safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready, the wind at help, the associates tend, and everything is bent for England.
For England.
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it thou knewest our purposes.
I see a tread that sees them, but come for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife, and man and wife is one flesh and soul. My mother. Come for England.
Follow him, and him with speed aboard. Delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight. Away! For everything is sealed and done that else leans on the affair. Pray you, make haste. And England, if my love thou hold'st it aught, as my great power thereof shall give thee sense, since yet thy cicatrice looks raw and red after the Danish sword, and thy free awe pays homage to us. Thou mayst not coldly set her sovereign process, which imports it full, by letters congruing to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me, till I know 'tis done. Howe'er my haps, my joys were ne'er begun.
Go, Captain. From me greet the Danish king. Tell him that by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye, and let him know so.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir. Whose powers are these?
They're Norway, sir.
How purpose, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephews to old Norway Fortinbras.
Is it some domain of Poland or some frontier?
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath no profit. To pay 5 ducats, 5, I would not call. Nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole. At a ranker rate it should be sold in fee.
Then the Polak will never defend it.
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you, sir.
Will you please go?
I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me, and spur my dull revenge. What is a man if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast no more. I'm sure he that made us for such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fuss in us unused. How stand I then, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? Well, to my shame, I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds. Fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough or continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth.
I will not speak with her.
She is unfortunate, indeed distressed. Her mood will need to be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense, which, as her winks and nods and gestures would yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily.
'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures and ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss. So full of artless jealousy is guilt, it spills itself in fearing to be spilt.
Where's the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
Come now, Ophelia!
Pray, remark. He is dead and gone, lady. He is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia...
Pray you mark. White his shroud has the mountain snow.
Look here, my lord.
Larded with sweet flowers, which be wept to the grave did go, with true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, good attitude.
Pretty Ophelia, how long has she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient. But I cannot choose between to think you lay in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night.
Follow her close. Keep her good watch, I pray you. Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself and her fair judgment. Last, and as containing as all these, her brother is in secret come from France, feeds on his wonder, keeps himself in clouds, and wants not buzzards to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death. Wherein necessity of matter beggared, nothing will our person stick to a rein and ear. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this like to a murdering piece in many places gives me superfluous death.
Alack, what noise is this?
Where are my Switzers? Let them guard the door. What is the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. The young Laertes in a riotous head overbears your officers. The rabble call him lord. They cry, choose we, Laertes shall be king.
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry! Oh, this is counter, you Danish dogs!
The doors are broke! Where is this king?
Oh, thou vile king, give me my father!
Calmly, good Laertes.
That drop of blood that's come proclaims me bastard, cries cuckold to my father, and brands the harlot here, between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Do not fear our person. There such divinity doth hedge a king that treason can but keep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why art thou thus incensed? Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devils. Let come what comes, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
My will, not all the world. And for my means I shall husband them so well, they shall go far with little.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death, is't written your revenge that swoop stake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends, thus wide I'll ope my arms, and like the kind, life-rendering pelican, repass them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman, that I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it. Shall as level to your judgment pierce as day does to your eye.
How now? What the noise is that? Oh, heat, dry up my brains, tears 7 times salt. By heavens, thy madness shall be paid by weight, till our scale turn the beam. O Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia, by heavens, is it possible that a young maid's wits should be as moral as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves.
They bore him barefaced on the bier, hey nanny nanny, hey nanny, and in his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove.
Hadst thou thy wits, didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
You must sing a down, a down, and you must sing a down. Oh, how the wheel becomes it. It was the false steward that stole his master's daughter.
This nothing's more than matter.
Here's Rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray well for them. And pansies. That's for thoughts.
A document in madness.
And that's for you. And Columbine.
Thought and affliction, passion, hell itself, she turns to favor and to prettiness.
For Bonnie, sweet Robin, so much faith.
Do you see this, O God?
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. Go but depart. Make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all we can, ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy, sword, nor hashment over his bones, no noble rite, nor formal ostentation, cry to be heard. 'Twere from heaven to earth that I must call it in question.
So you shall, and where the offense is, let the great axe fall. I pray you, go with me.
What are they that would speak with me?
Sailors, sir. They say they have letters for you.
Let them come in. I do not know from what part of the world I should be greeted, if not from Lord Hamlet.
God bless you, sir.
Let him bless thee too.
He shall, sir. And please.
There's a letter for you, sir. It comes from the ambassador that was bound for England. If your name be Horatio, as I'm led to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, give this fellow some means to the king. He has letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy. They knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear will make thee dumb, yet are they much too light for the bore of the matter. This good fellow will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. He that thou knowest thine, Hamlet. Come, I will make you wait for these letters, and do it the speedier, so that you may direct me to him from whom you brought them.
Now must your conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in heart for friend, since you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears. But tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so crimeful and so capital in nature, as by your wisdom, safety, all things else, you mainly were stirred up.
Both for two special reasons, which may to you, perhaps, seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they are strong.
And so have
Queen,
I.
his mother, lives almost by his looks. The other motive is the great love the general gender bear.
And so have I, a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps, for that you shortly shall hear more. How now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet, Your Majesty, the Queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them now. They give given me by Claudia to receive them in that rock.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes. Tomorrow, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet, what should this mean? Are all the rest come home? Or is it some abuse and no such thing?
Know you the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character, naked, and in a postscript here, he says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord. Let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
If it be so, Laertes, how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord. So you will not overrule me to a peace?
To thine own peace, if he be now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit. Now write in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall. And for his death, no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ.
It falls right. You have been talked of since your travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing for a quality wherein they say you shine.
What part is that, my lord?
2 months since, here was a gentleman of Normandy.
A Norman, was it?
A Norman.
Upon my life, Lamont.
The very same.
I know him very well. He is a brooch indeed, and gem of all the nation.
He made confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report for art and exercise in your defense, and for your rapier most especially, that he cried out, 'Twould be a sight indeed if one could match you. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy, that he could nothing do but wish and beg your son coming over to play with him. Now out of this.
What out of this, my lord?
Laertes, was your father dear to you, or are you like a painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know. Love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof. Time qualifies the spark and fire of it. But to the quick go the ulcer. Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake? To show yourself your father's son indeed more than in words?
To cut his throat in the church.
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returns, shall know you are come home. Will put upon those, shall praise your excellence, and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you. Bring you in fine together, and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a passive practice, requite him for your father.
I'll do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that, take a knife and dip it in the where it provides blood. From the moon to the suns, I will put it in the poison. And if I gall him slightly, it shall be death.
Let's further think on this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essay. Therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold if this should blast in proof. Soft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunnings. High hat, when in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and that he calls for drink. I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nuns, whereon but sipping. If he perchance escape your venom stop, our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned there.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There is a willow, grows aslant a brook, that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There, with fantastic garlands did she come, of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our old maids do dead men's fingers call them. There, on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds, clamoring to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide and mermaid-like, a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature, native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be. till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then, she is drowned.
Drowned, drowned.
Too much water hast thou, poor Ophelia. Therefore I forbid my tears. But yet, it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman is gone. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Let's follow Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now fear I this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation?
I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds it a Christian burial.
How can that be, unless she drowned herself in her own defense?
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be se effendendo. It cannot be else. Here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. And an act hath three branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, but hear you, good man Delver.
Give me leave. Here stands the man. Good. Here lies the water. Good. If the man go to the water and drown himself, it is will he, nil he goes. Mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death, shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, marry, is't.
We have the truth on't. If this had not been a gentlewoman, she would have been buried out of Christian burial.
Aye, and there thou sayest. The more pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why? He had none?
What? Art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could Adam dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker. For that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like that wit well, in good faith. The gallows does well, but how does it well? It does well to those that do in. Thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. Two together, come.
Who builds stronger than the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
Aye, tell me that and unyoke.
Marry, now I can tell.
To it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. And, when you were asked this question next, say a grave maker. The houses he may glass till doomsday. Go, get thee to Johann. Fetch me a stoup of liquor.
In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract, the time for, my behalf. Oh, methought there was nothing meet.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Custom hath made in him a property of easiness.
Isn't so? The hand of little and 1.5 days your sense.
But age with his stealing steps hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I had never been such.
That skull had a tongue in it. I could sing once. Might be the pate of a politician, which this ass now o'erreaches. One that could circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or the courtier, which would say, "Good morrow, sweet lord."
Aye, my lord.
There's another. But might not that be the skull of a lawyer? The very conveyances of his lands will hardly lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more?
Not a jot more, my lord.
Not a parchment made of sheepskins?
Aye, my lord, and of calfskins too.
Better sheepskin and calves which seek out assurance in that. I'll speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sirrah?
Mine, sir.
It
is thine indeed for thy last end.
You lie out on, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in's, and yet it is mine.
But dost thou lie in? To lie in and say it's thine, 'tis for the dead, not for the quick. Therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away gain from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none either.
Who is to be buried in it?
For one that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days of the year I came to it the day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born, he that is mad and sent into England.
Mary, why was he sent to England?
Why, because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, it's no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, in with losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark. I've been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years.
How long will a man lie the earth ere he rot?
He will last you some 8 year or 9 year. Here's a skull now. The skull has lain on the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A whore's son, mad fellow's it was. Whose do you think it was?
May I know not?
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. I poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. The same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
Yes.
E'en that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. And now, how aborted my imagination it is. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Does not think Alexander looked on his back here?
E'en so.
Smelled so.
E'en so, my lord.
What's up? What's up? Aside. Here comes the king. Queen. The courtiers, who is this they follow? Such a name. This thought took in the course they followed you with desperate hands. Would do its own life. How should the wild mark?
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth. Hark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we warrantized. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command o'ersways the order. She should in ground unsanctified have lodged to the last trumpet.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be, while thou liest howling.
The fair Ophelia.
Sweets to the sweet. Farewell.
Oh, troubled woe.
What if he was grieved by such an emphasis? This is my hand of the day.
The devil take thy sword!
The prince of hell, and really take thy fingers from thy throat, hold up thy hand.
Put them asunder!
Look, my lord, why I don't stop to set my heart to see him until my eyes were no longer mine.
Oh, my son! What theme?
I love Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all that quantity of love make up my son. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes!
For love of God, forbear him! This is mere madness! And thus awhile the fit will work on him. Anon, as patient as the female dove, when that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever.
I pray you, Horatio, wait upon him. Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. Put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, shed some water over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience, our proceeding be.
Remember, my lord. down, stalked about me. In the dark, groped I to find out them had my desire. Fingered their packet, and in fine withdrew my fears, forgetting manners, to unseal their grand commission. Where I found Horatio, O royal knavery, in exact command, lauded with many several sorts of reasons, importing Denmark's health and England's too. With such bugs and goblins in my life that on the supervised, my head should be struck off.
It's possible?
Here's the commission. Read it at most leisure. But wilt thou hear me how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, my lord.
An earnest conjuration to the king, as England was his faithful tributary, as love between them like the palm might flourish, that on the supervised and knowing of these effects, he the bearers put to sudden death, not striving time allowed.
How was the seal?
Even in that was second ordinance. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of that Danish seal. Now the next day was our sea fight, and what to this was sequent thou knowest already.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
My man, they did make love to this employment. They
Why?
are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow.
Why? What a king is this?
Doesn't that thing's fee stand me now upon? He that hath killed my king, whored my mother, popped in between the elections and my hopes, for such cozenage. It's not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm.
It must be shortly known to him from England. What is the issue of the business there?
It will be short. The interim is mine.
Peace! Ho! Who comes here? Your lordship is right welcome back in Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir. Dost thou know this water's life?
No, my lord.
That state is more gracious, for 'tis of vice to know.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to his right use, 'tis for the head.
I thank your lordship, it is very hot.
Believe me, 'tis very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is an indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
Methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord, it is very sultry, as 'twere, I cannot tell how. But, my lord, his majesty bade me signify to you it was something of great importance, sir. This is the
May I beseech you, remember.
Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, of very soft society and great showing.
Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you. But in the variety of extolments, I take him to be a soul of great article.
We're not ignorant of the excellence that Laertes is, I mean, sir, for his weapon, but in the imputation laid on him by them in his meed he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier. The king, sir, hath wagered 6 Barbary horses, against the which he hath imponed, as I take it, 6 French rapiers and poniards with their assigns as girdle, hangers, and so. 3 of the carriages are very dear to fancy, responsive in the hilts. Most excellent carriages, and of very liberal conceit.
But on 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, their assigns, and 3 liberal conceited carriages. That's the French bet against the Danish. What is this impone, as you call it?
The king, sir, hath laid that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he should not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, 'tis the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought. The gentleman willing and the king hold his purpose. I shall win for him, and I can. If not, I gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I redeliver you e'en so?
To this effect, sir. After what nature your grace will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours. He does well to commend it himself, sir. No tongues else for his turn.
My lord, his majesty commended him to you by young Osric, who brings back to him that you attend him in the hall. He sends to know if your pleasure holds to play with Laertes, or that you will take longer time.
I am constant to my purpose. They follow the king's pleasure. If his fitness speaks, mine is ready now or whensoever, provided I be so able as now.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
The queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to
She
play.
will instruct.
Who lose this wager, my
I do
lord?
not think so. Since he went into France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. But thou wouldst not know how ill all's about my heart, but it is no matter.
Nay, my good
It
lord.
is but foolery. It is such a kind of game-giving as perhaps would trouble a woman.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall the rapier hither, and say you are not fit.
A wit. We defy augury. Let be.
Come, Hamlet, come. Take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong. But pardon it as you are a judge. What I have done that might your nature, honesty, and exemption roughly awake, I here proclaimed was madness. What's Hamlet wrong, Laertes? Never Hamlet.
I am satisfied in nature. I do receive your offer of love like love.
And will not wrong it. I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play.
Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well, my lord, your grace hath laid the odds on the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both, but since he is better, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
And this likes me well. Have these foils all alike?
I am not the Lord.
Set me the scoops of wine upon that table. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup of pearls shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cups. Now the king dunks to Hamlet, and you, the judges, bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
No! Judgment?
A hint, helpful hint.
Well, again, stay! Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this dog first. Set it by a while. Come.
Touch, I do confess, our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune.
Good madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you. Pardon me.
It is the poisoned cup. It is too late.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wash thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think.
It is almost against my conscience.
Come for the third, Laertes. You do but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I am afeard you make a wanton of me.
Say you so.
Nothing, neither way.
How about you now? Plug them, they are incensed.
Come again.
They bleed on both sides. How is my lord? How is Laertes?
Why, has a wit got to mine own spring, Osric? I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No. No, the drink. The drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet. The drink. The drink. I am poisoned.
Oh, but the doors be locked! Villainy, seek it out! It is here, Hamlet! Hamlet, thou art slain! No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee there is a half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand! Unbaited and envenomed, the foul practice hath turned itself on me low. Here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poison! I can no more! The king is to blame! Envenom too. Envenom to thy work!
day, friends, I am returned. He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Wretched queen, adieu. You, that look pale and tremble at this chance, that are mute audience to this act. Had I but time, as this foul sergeant death is strict in his arrest. But let it be, Horatio. I am dead. Thou livest. Report me and my cause a right to the unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than a Dane. Here's yet some liquor left.
Our demand. I'll have it. Horatio, what a wounded name. Things standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this cruel world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young Ford Ross, conquest come from Poland to the ambassadors of England, gives this warlike volley.
I die, Horatio. The potent poison crowds my spirit. I cannot live to see the news from England, for I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. So tell him, with the occurrence, more and less which I've solicited, the rest is silent.
How cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search. His quarry cries on heaven. Oh, proud death. What feast is torn thine eternal cell that so many princes and a shot so bloodily has struck?
The sight is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing to tell him his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth had it the ability of life to thank you. He never gave commandment for their death. But since you so arrived upon this bloody question, you from the Polack Wars and you from England, were here arrived to give order that these bodies, high on the stage, be placed to the view. And let me speak to the yet unknowing world of how these events came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in this upshot, purposes mistook have fallen on the inventor's reeds. All this I truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my vantage doth invite me.
Of this I shall have also cause to speak, but from his mouth, whose voice will draw on more. But let this same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance of plots and errors happen.
The four captains bear Hamlet, like a soldier, to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally. And for his passage, soldiers' music and rites of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers shoot.